Hey guys, hi. Welcome. This is Doing Relationships Right. I have to get this right because it's usually doing divorce right. And I'm new, it's new. Yay, hooray, I'm so excited. Welcome. I'm Jennifer Hurwitz and I'm your host. Every Tuesday I'm here. I have to make sure this says peace, love, truth here and not peace, love, Trump. You can't see at home if you're listening. Hi listeners, hi everybody. If you don't know this already, I'm looking at both ways here. I'm remembering that I'm also audio and video now. I used to be just audio and now I have a YouTube channel. So this is very exciting. I actually showered today, Janene. I have Janene Verabian with me today. It's so exciting because I'm looking at this gorgeous woman in front of me. So listeners, you can't see her. She's fantastically beautiful. Janene Verabian is here. Hi, Janene. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Yay. Okay, let me read your bio and tell everybody about you. You're a hypnotherapist. Right?
Yeah, clinical hypnotherapist.
Hypnotherapist, clinical hypnotherapist, and a relationship coach.
Relationship expert, yes.
Okay, we'll get into all that. We're going to talk about everything.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here and thank you for joining us.
Thank
and let's talk. Let's hear about all the good stuff. And we're going to talk. I think our topic today we're going to talk about how to tell if you're in a narcissistic relationship. Is that what we're going to talk about?
That's a good one.
That's good. I love it. So let's just dive right in and we're going to talk about you. But first, before I go on, you have two kids from
I have two kids and I have two stepchildren. So together we have 4 kids, 4 girls.
Oh my God.
Lots of wine in the house, lots of wine.
Oh my God, 4 girls.
But they're good kids. They really are.
What are the ranges?
Okay, so we have a 10-year-old, two 16-year-olds, both named Sophia.
Oh wait, come on.
I'm not kidding.
2 Sophias. That's awesome. Awesome.
So they're a lot of fun. They're good kids. I mean, but there's always something going on. There's always some fire to put out. You know how it is being parents. So
absolutely. And you're from California. Your practice is in Newport Beach?
Yes, Newport Beach.
Awesome.
Yeah, right here in Orange County.
That's amazing. Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome.
We're not experiencing the winters everyone else is having right now.
It's a little rainy and cold here in Charlotte. I got to tell you, I've had enough. I've had just about enough over here.
There, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's okay. So tell me, how did you start? Where did you begin? How did you fall into this relationship expert thing?
Oh my gosh.
What exactly is
that in itself would take.
Okay. So hypnotherapy, how did you start doing that?
Wow. So I noticed that people were struggling, but were having such a hard time staying in therapy, traditional therapy, for such a long time. And not to say anything against traditional therapy, I'm a huge fan of it. I use it myself. But I noticed that people wanted faster results and they wanted to get to the point. They wanted, just results. And so I noticed that hypnotherapy, using the subconscious mind, you're able to kind of fast track it, so to say, and just get there and get to the point. And although hypnotherapy, you'll see a lot of people out there that'll be like, oh yeah, I went to 1 session and, my whole life's better. And that just so untrue. And so I do more time debunking the myths of like, I won't make you quack like a duck. And no, I wasn't, doing that stage show in Vegas. And oh God, we work with doctors, we work with hospitals, and so basically what hypnotherapy does is takes a person, in my case, I work with a lot of people who have past traumas, old wounds that it's holding them back in some way in their life. And they want to move forward, but they're just not sure how, because this subconscious tape is running in their head, telling them something that is holding them back. So it could be, like I said, it could be a trauma. It could be a belief that someone picked up along the way that they decided to have be true about themselves. So I'm talking about something extremely broad and trying to streamline it.
Okay.
But I noticed that this tool is huge for healing. Myself, I've been through trauma, so I don't speak from the cheap seats. People hear me say that a lot. It was highly beneficial for me years and years ago before I started practicing it and using it in my practice now. So it just, I could talk about it all day long because it's really my jam. I love it. I love everything about it. I love when people come out of hypnosis and go, wow, I have been carrying that around for the better part of 50 years. And I finally let it go today. And that's, I get emotional even thinking about it because it's beautiful. It's beautiful because no one really needs to go through life holding on to something they believed when they were 7. And I can't tell you how many times that's the case.
So do you feel like people are they don't believe it at first. Like they feel like that just couldn't happen. I could never be hypnotized. Is it actually being, I'm so naive. I'm going to ask this question for
No, it's all
my
good.
listeners who I know are thinking it.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
really being like you're hypnotized really? Like it does actually, you go under, like you're in a different
Yeah.
state of
So I
mind?
never, yeah. So basically, how hypnotherapy works is you go into a subconscious state.
Right.
So I never use the word go under, though, although that's
Right.
used a lot.
Yeah.
And I always say, no, 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 I don't put anyone under.
Yeah.
That's a whole different, range that I don't go into. It's basically you are heightening your concentration. So you're extremely aware of everything that's going on. So I think that's a myth that people believe, like, am I going to not remember anything I
Yeah.
said or what I did? And a lot of people come with fear and going, my friend tried it and she had a horrible experience, or they went to Vegas and did a show and she was doing something she didn't want to do.
Right.
And that's people who, some type of way, down deep, have show off tendencies, and so they were
Oh.
going to do it regardless.
Oh, that's interesting,
No
isn't it?
one, yeah,
Okay.
I'd get paid so much more than I get paid if I could really make someone do what I wanted to
Sure,
do.
sure,
And
sure.
I,
Right.
it's not it at all. It's hypnotherapy is just me being a guide, and I help you travel to your answers. And it's as simple as that. The big difference is when you are consciously aware and you are being asked to access memories. Sometimes your body protects itself
Sure.
and it won't allow you to go there. So when you're in a relaxed state and you feel safe and you're able to safely regress back to a moment in time that was traumatic for you in a safe way, you're able to actually kind of rewire the way you feel about it. Because when you go back to visit those moments, a lot of the times, for some people, it's not as substantial as
Right.
they remember it being, or for some, it's much more
Oh, I
substantial
see.
than they remember it
Right.
being.
Like they go back and it's not as bad as they really thought it was, but they're making it
Yeah, so I've had,
really bad. And like
yeah,
they're right. Oh, I see. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So I've had clients come in and we went through a few sessions because it generally does take, a series of 4 to 7 sessions generally. And about the fourth or fifth session, depending on the person, we will do a hypnosis session that will go there and
Okay.
into the big stuff. And when we do, sometimes let's just say someone wants to lose weight. And we go back and we're trying to go in the timeline, and she accesses it and goes, when I was 7, my uncle said, don't eat those or you'll be fat.
Oh,
And I, for the rest of my life, thought that if I eat this or that, I'll be fat.
mhm.
Is that a realistic thing? No, it's not. For a
Right.
7-year-old, absolutely.
Sure.
So that's the difference. Now, some people have substantial trauma that they've been through, and some I will, resource out to other people who can help more than I can with medication and diagnosing. I don't do that.
Right.
I work with people who feel that they have everything they need inside of them and want to put to bed some things that are holding them back in life.
Right.
And for some people, it's substantial trauma. And that, dictates a little bit more time. But again, generally speaking, if the person's willing to want to heal, that's everything.
Absolutely. I
Really
agree with
wants
that.
to
Yeah. They have
heal,
to
they
want to
don't,
do it.
right.
Right.
They don't want to be in this victim
Right.
stage, or they don't want to break up and make up for the
Right.
49th time. They really are in it to heal from whatever is going on. That is huge. Hypnotherapy
Right.
is huge.
Well, Janine, I find that too with my own practice. Even I'm not, do what you do, but I feel like even I have some clients that come to me and they really don't want to feel, they don't want to choose to be happy. They
Right.
don't want to be happy. They want to be bitter and
Right.
angry. I'm a divorce coach, so they're still in that space where they're mad and they're angry and
Yeah.
they don't want to move on and be happy. And I feel like you
Right.
have to want to be, get to that place,
Yeah.
that
And
block.
and you're so
Yeah.
right, because I speak to a lot of people, and it takes a minute, when as a coach, you understand this.
Yeah. It
So many
does.
times we can see this glaringly,
Yeah.
right? But
Like,
if they're in it,
yeah.
they're like, what? I don't,
I don't
And
see that
really,
light
if you're
at the end of
doing
the
your,
tunnel.
yeah,
Right.
yes. And if you're doing your job correctly, you allow them that aha moment. You
Absolutely.
do not provide them that aha
Right.
moment, right?
Right.
So that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
so when someone's in a victim place of going, I just want to feel bad for myself and stay here because I get a positive payout of family's attention or days off of work or,
Right. Sure.
whatever. There's a lot of times that I do work with people who are really into the self-sabotage game.
Mm.
So we have to
Nice
have
segue. That's a nice segue we have there.
yeah. Yeah.
So, speaking of self-sabotage, that was another thing we were going to talk about too. But so how do you know, like, how do you see that a lot in your practice too, where people are trying to self-sabotage their own relationships, or they feel as though they're, I see that too. So I don't know. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna like kind of work backwards, but yes,
Go
they
for
do,
it.
they self-sabotage and they do it more after they've healed from the trauma.
Isn't that
So
funny?
this is like the part two, right? This is like super important because they'll go, okay, I've figured out what was looming in the past, put it to bed, feel great about moving forward, but I really don't deserve any of the good things I want.
Right. Isn't that
And there's
crazy?
the ball game.
There it is. You're like, hello, right, check,
game.
please. Right. You're like, come on, guys. But you just got there. Now let yourself have it. Right. Isn't that interesting?
Totally.
Right? I don't deserve it, or I'm not good enough, or right.
So many people
I know.
deal with that.
I know.
And it is just, and when they realize, oh my God, I'm the problem. And I've had to say it. I've had to just
I've been there. I mean, trust me, I've been there in my weekend, like I do sometimes. I feel like, what is wrong? It's me, but I know. It's hard.
Totally. And sometimes you need someone to say that, going, so let's go ahead and reference the last couple of times and how you dealt with this and what's the common denominator,
Right.
It's you. So you got to step into the good stuff. You can stay here and wallow. You can stay here and be spiteful and hate the world and tell everyone all the wonderful things you want to do. Or you can go, you know what? Today's a new day. Yesterday was yesterday. I'm stepping into tomorrow because I deserve it, because I am worthy, because I put in the hard work, all of these things. And I think as women, especially men too, but I think especially as women and mothers and all the roles we play, it's so easy to play the martyr and to play the, I don't really deserve that, or I really need to take care of the kids, or I need to make sure my husband has what he needs. And we just sabotage our lives and what we want for ourselves.
It's so true. I'm sitting here listening going, gosh, I just, right. I mean,
we all do it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so hard. And especially when you've worked so hard for something for in business or for X amount of time, and then you don't get what, it happens to me. I'm talking about myself here. I'm like, as I'm sitting with you. It. Yeah. And you reach that goal or you don't reach that goal. And then you're like, it's so difficult, especially now with the pandemic too. It's just been such a year. But again, you have to make those choices, you have to, I say to my clients sometimes, you have to choose happiness. You have to choose either, how many days are you going to stay in bed? How many days are you going to be, how many days? And then just say, today I'm going to get up. I'm going to take that step and I'm going to choose to be happy today. And it's so hard. I want to cry thinking about it. It's been a tough year for everybody,
It really, it has, and I guess the good part about it is I've talked to so many people who go, you know what? This year has been amazing for me because it's forced me to look in the mirror.
Yes.
It's forced me to take stock, right?
Yeah. Well, I changed. I pivoted. You have to pivot. I don't mean to interrupt you. My listeners hate when I do that, but I had to pivot. I looked and I was, last year, it's 2021 right now, even though we're recording, but it's a new year. And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I have to get out of this rut. I have to change something. I have to. And it's funny. I have a new, podcast editor. Thank you, Kevin. And Kevin, my new Kevin, he said to me, what are we going to do? What can you do to, we've got to do something. And I said, let's change my podcast. I was doing Divorce Right. And now welcome, you're here with me doing Relationships Right. And I said, I've got to pivot and open something up and do something happier, bigger, or something. And so I decided this is where I am now in this new place. So welcome, Janene, to Doing Relationships Right. Yeah, sometimes you have to.
No, you have to change, just turn the page and make that decision. And even when you're facing hard times, and For a lot of my clients that have left narcissistic
Oh,
relationships,
there we go.
let's just
Another
say,
segue.
right?
Look
So
at you. Look at you for me. There we
yeah,
go.
that's
Perfect.
Vroom, poof. When they do that, they are in like this kind of moving forward into this new life, and there's such trepidation.
Yep.
There's such just a not trusting of themselves,
Well,
and that needs time.
well, they've been in this relationship with the narcissist or right for so long that they don't
Yep.
trust
Uh-huh.
themselves. Yeah.
No, they
So
don't.
what are some signals? What
Yeah.
are some signs? Let's go right there. Let's get into it. This is one
All
of
right. I love
my
it.
listeners love to talk about narcissistic relationships. They love to hear about this. This is their favorite topic. So I love to have
Yeah.
you being here to talk about this is just thank you. So if you want to give
Oh,
us
no,
some
thank you. Thank you for having me. It's
a
great.
little
Yeah, no, you know what? There's so many signs. And I think some of the glaringly obvious ones, and I'm not talking about like your grandma and grandpa that have been together for 100 years and
yeah.
like, oh, we dated twice and we got married and we're still in love. And salute, right? It's for the people who can do that. That's
Yeah,
great.
fabulous. Good job, guys.
Yeah, but for most people, a man who, and again, I'm saying man, it goes with both, but
Yeah.
statistically, more men are narcissists. So,
Yes.
when you're sitting with a person and you haven't, I joke about this in a video saying that you haven't even gotten your hors d'oeuvres yet, and he's talking about moving in with you, when they come in hot.
The Soberlink system is designed to make parenting time safer with real-time remote alcohol monitoring. Soberlink uniquely combines a breathalyzer with wireless connectivity and is the only system that includes facial recognition, tamper detection, and advanced reporting. Parents can submit a test anytime, anywhere, thanks to Soberlink's wireless technology, which delivers test results by text message or email to the concerned parties. Simplify co-parenting arrangements by using the system that provides transparency and proof of sobriety throughout the day. Flexible schedules combined with real-time delivery of results make Soberlink the experts in remote alcohol monitoring technology. It's my pleasure to offer my listeners $50 off your device. Just email info@soberlink.com and mention Doing Divorce Right. But hurry, it's for a limited time only. Soberlink.com.
You know that,
my listeners
right?
are like, John, my mouth is to the floor. I have clients that come to me and they're like, I'm in love. I'm in love. He told me, this is it. We've been dating 3 weeks and I'm like, whoa, red flag. And they're like, no. He's serious about me. He's serious. I'm like, okay.
They always are.
They always are.
They always are till they're not.
Till they're not. That's exactly right. Yes. Keep going. I love this. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's the thing is at the beginning, it's like, it's wine and roses and it's beautiful. And it's like you found the one and you're so intoxicated by it all. And, they gift you and they tell you they've never met anyone like you. And they hold you on this pedestal and they meet everyone you've ever met inside of 24 hours. And oh my God, it just feels so good.
Like that narcissistic coma. It's like that cloud of narcissistic bliss, and you're perfect. You don't get more perfect.
Oh yeah, they're
right?
stirring it up. Yeah. Well, so they're telling you you're perfect and you're beautiful and they're the most perfect person they've ever met. They are vetting you. They're vetting you. They are looking at your vulnerabilities, your failures, the ugly stuff that you keep hidden that they get close enough to you for you to unveil to them. And then they use it against you. And it turns swiftly, and I just got chills.
I did too. That's so weird. I was just going to say that, Janene. My whole body, I got chills. My whole body.
Yeah. And it's so, I think it's because I feel for so many women, I know how that feels, where you just wake up one day and say, God, who is this person? How did we get here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where I think the light bulb starts to come on. And the subtleties, it's very insidious, this type of abuse. Starts slow. It starts as like a joke or a snide remark or a little kind of, little chip at you, right? And then it turns into arguments, and then it turns into the lovely gaslighting. Oh, we could do a whole segment on that.
You'll come back. Will you come back? I know you have a book coming out soon, right? Your book.
Yes, we're going to talk
about. So when your book comes out, you'll come back and we'll talk about it. It's funny. People don't. I have friends that actually think that gaslighting is not real.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow.
They think that
have they experienced it?
I don't know if they have, but they think it's a fake like, therapist term. And I'm like, oh God. Yeah, I know. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, no, it's gaslighting is a real deal
Sure is.
thing, and
Yep.
it is you get left with the bill, on that one, and the cleanup time on that one, and it can really play tricks on you.
It drives
plays
me,
tricks on.
my brain goes cuckoo. I think to myself, am I crazy? Like, am I nuts? I know that I heard it this way, but he's literally making me feel like I didn't, like I said it something different. Like, I'm like, right? I can remember being like, no, I know I said it one way. He's making me think I was right.
They are masters at that. I don't want to give them too much credit. I know a lot of people say that narcissists tend to be very intelligent. I know some of them who are. I know some who are dumber than a box of rocks. So, not getting ahead of us. But yes, they do have a knack for manipulation. They have a knack of, I didn't say it that way. You're not remembering it right. I don't know why you get so sensitive.
I hate that.
They will turn it.
Yes,
Yeah, they'll turn it on you. So you feel like, am I remembering that wrong? Or you just can't trust yourself to make decisions. So it's a whole thing, right? And then when after you leave the relationship or they leave you, you're left feeling so out of control of normal decisions that you'd be able to make on your own, because this person has become such a central part of your life and they are controlling you. And it doesn't mean it has to be a guy that asks you who you're on the phone with, or wants to see your phone records, or
right.
It's not always that guy.
Right. I think people think it is. I know I have a lot of clients who are like, well, he's so good to me. He's really he doesn't care he trusts me. And I'm like, you guys are, you're missing it. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't always have to be the textbook, right?
Exactly. And I think that's the parlay to the people who narcissistic people generally attract are the empaths, are the healers, are the kind, sweet souls of the world,
right.
That want to help other people, don't want to see anyone in pain and go, I can love him through this. Yes. I can fix this.
Yes, I can fix it.
You can't fix that.
I know you can't. You cannot fix. I tried.
Fix it.
Been there. I tried.
Right? I could hold a whole t-shirt store, let alone a t-shirt on it. I mean, just my God. And that's the hardest part is when a client goes no contact, right? And that's something that's important when you're in a narcissistic relationship, is no contact.
No, you just cut it. You just say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there's a lot to that. And it's a whole lot to that with kids. It's a slightly different story.
You'll come back. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but you got to kind of back away from like no contact. And when you do, they don't like that.
No, they don't.
Generally speaking.
No, they don't.
And so they double down.
Yep, they do.
And that gets lots of fun. So, there's all kinds of crazy stories you'll hear, and just bizarre things that they will do to get you back in their lives in any capacity. Okay. It could be that you're screaming at them, or that you're crying, or that you are actually genuinely giving them another shot. They don't care. They just want a supply to be filled. You are the current supply. You are nothing more than that. And I think that is really, really hard for women to, it's right. It's just like, I saw you cringe. It's horrible that people treat people that way, and they're so disposable. But a narcissist can't bond. And that's super, super important for people to realize. So where are you going with this? Like you're boarding a train that's going nowhere.
And I have a question. They have no empathy, correct? They're completely, or they have none. Okay. So there's another, yeah, go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
I'll take that back. I mean, there is definitely spectrums. Again, and I don't get into all of that, but there's people that we all know that are like, glaringly narcissistic. And then there's other people you're like, yeah, they have traits. There's somewhere on there. They drive me a little crazy, but I can deal with them, and then everything in between. So it just really depends on the case.
Okay. Another question for you. Is it hereditary? Do you believe that narcissistic people have narcissistic children?
I am laughing at this.
I've heard both things. I've heard both things. So I'm nervous because I'm nervous. I've heard I don't know. I love your opinion on
Don't
this.
be nervous.
Okay.
Well, I got to tell you, I spent 10 hours staring at a screen yesterday writing a Harvard thesis on this. So it's funny you said that. I mean, honestly, we didn't talk about that before.
No.
That's what I'm writing my thesis on.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Okay, so you should be more impressed with me that I actually knew the stats, but I don't. So it's something like 46% that's genes. And then I want to say like 50 something is the rest.
Okay.
I didn't know I was going to ask this question, but yes, it's both.
It's both. Okay.
But I am a huge believer that yes, it could be genetic, but it's so much to do with how a person's raised. I'm from that philosophy.
Yeah.
You know, if a child was abandoned early in life or had a really traumatic event or had a very abusive parent, the child learns very early to depend on no one.
Yeah.
They are alone in their world, and they better fuel themselves with self-esteem. The problem is narcissists tend to look like they're full of charisma and self-esteem and all. Like they've got the whole bag in the beginning, but they don't have any. That's the truth.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Which is why they're wearing the mask. Much different than the rest of us.
Sure. Right. Oh, it's off. You know, I could talk all day about this. I could go all day. I have so many questions, and people love it. My listeners, they'll come, we want another nerd. I'm like, okay, I'll bring it. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I hate to use the diagnosis. So everyone says to me, oh, this one's a narcissist. That was, and really, what is it? Only 1% or 0.1% of people are actually diagnosed. Is that true? So you have to be careful not to call everybody a narcissist. Right?
I've seen varying rates on that.
Okay.
But you know what I do? I basically tell a client if they really want a diagnosis because they're in court or family court's a whole different thing. We all know that sometimes there's a place for that. You want a name. But for me, when a client comes in and goes, are they a narcissist? I never once say I would never diagnose.
No.
I don't diagnose anyway, but I wouldn't tell them about someone else that I've never even met. But I can say this: what's your life looking like? What is your relationship elements looking like? How toxic? How much does this suck? Does it suck right now? If your life sucks right now in your relationship, there's a general reason. It's probably because it's toxic. And toxicity comes from a toxic person. So, I mean, I guess we can continue to go back and look at what the actual source was and slap a sociopath or psychopath or a narcissist or a covert narcissist or malignant narcissist on it. It all just really, do you want to be in that relationship anymore?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's, again, and not that there's not a need for a diagnosis and a name. Absolutely. There's times that there is. But for the most part, my clients they want to stop hurting.
Yeah.
They want peace.
Can your hypnotherapy, does it all tie together? Like, can you have clients come in that you can actually help them leave a narcissistic relationship? Because I feel like I have I don't work with high conflict divorce because I just can't, but it's too much for me, obviously. It's too much. So, but can you have someone come in and you do? And they come in and they're like, look, I cannot leave this man. I don't know how to, or no.
It happens all the time.
Oh, good. Okay.
No, it's not stupid. Okay. It happens all the time.
I can send people to you.
That's the hardest.
Yeah.
Yep. So there are people, and I actually worked with one not long ago, and she was, I feel, in a very toxic relationship. She wasn't there yet. She wasn't ready. And it's not my path. It's not my journey. I could all day long go, oh dear God, how do you go home to this man and live like this? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But the truth is that person has to be ready. And we can say all the mumbo jumbo in this office that they want to hear and dial it all in and, have all the stats correct. But really, the person sitting on the couch is crying because they loved someone so deeply, had children perhaps with this person.
That's a whole other.
And they want to know, why can't they act or give me the decency I give them? And I think that's the hardest part to unlearn is stop expecting you from the narcissist. He reached out to you because you have what he doesn't have. You have empathy, you have kindness, you have emotional intelligence, right? So he doesn't have these things or she doesn't have these things. And so she'll look to you for that. suck you dry, move on to the next person.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable to me. I'm sitting here. It's so hard for me because my jaw's like, and people, you can't see me unless you're watching YouTube, but my jaw's on the floor. It's just on the floor. I can't even. I wish you could stay for hours. I would have you for hours. I think you're fabulous. But you have to go because I have to let you go. But can you tell me, first of all, where everybody can find you? I found you on Instagram because I stalk you and I think you're fantastic. So tell everybody where they can find you the easiest. Your website's beautiful too.
Yeah. Thank you. The
You're
handle
welcome.
Ask Janene Verabian, and my website is janeneverabian.com.
Okay, we're going to put
And
everything
that's probably
in the
the
show notes.
easiest way.
Okay, everything will be in the show notes.
And then, of course, great. Yeah, that's the best way to reach me. And I'm pretty easy gal to get a hold of most days.
Awesome. And good news, you have a new book coming out soon.
I do.
Okay,
I do. Oh my God, I do.
Yeah.
I'm so
Good.
excited.
It's exciting. And you'll come back and we'll talk about that. Will you come back?
I would love that, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you were here. And I hate to cut this short because I could have you all day. So everybody, Janene Verabian, and find her on Instagram, Facebook too, or no, just Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on
everywhere.
Facebook as Janene Verabian as well. I'm
Awesome.
everywhere.
She's everywhere. Perfect. And her new book is coming out soon. We're not going to tell you the title. It's a secret. But when she comes back on the show, we'll plug the new book and we'll talk about it. I'm very, very proud of you and excited for you. I think you're fabulous. And I think you brought so much knowledge to my listeners today. I was going to say doing divorce right, but it's not. It's doing relationships right. I'm so excited. And peace, love, truth. This says truth, not Trump. Everyone can't see it. I'm wearing a peace, love, truth t-shirt, everybody. So thanks for being here today. And you know where to find me.
You're great.
Oh, thank you, honey. You know where to find me, everybody.
Thank you.
JenniferHurwitz.com. It's easy. And on Instagram, it's going to be, I'm changing it, Jennifer Hurwitz Biz. Back to that. And that's it. So yay, everybody, you know what to do. Thanks for being here. You can get my books, One Happy Divorce, Hold the Bullshit, or Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, A Divorce Coach's Guide to Staying Married. And that's that. Everybody have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. Peace, love, and as always, so much truth. Bye, guys. Thanks, Janene.
Yay,
Talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.